Welcome back to Ringworm. Before we get started on anything, we got something we gotta go fix. In the last 3 days, I've slid off the bridge 3 times. I was out there with the jackhammer, busting up packed snow and ice on the top of that bridge. I gotta do it again, except now we got a digger. Let's go use the digger. Plus, it'll be a lot easier on my back. I don't know if it's gonna work. Come on, let's go. I think Kuiper's at a little bit of a loss. He's been with Sarah and or Sarah's dogs for a couple weeks straight. You like the ladies, don't you? I get it. Oh, it's just so good to come around the corner and see that hydraulic thumb, you know what I mean? The more snow falls and the more I run over it, the more the platforms go from flat to like this. And the tires on the trailer are a different width than the four-wheeler, so there's always one that's getting off a little bit. This time, the trailer got off and then it just pulled the whole four-wheeler. Yeah, you can see those are the trailer tires. And of course, you get stuck in there and the whole thing bottoms out. I keep thinking I'm just gonna fill that middle in sometime and I don't get around to it because who really cares? The ATV maybe weighs a few hundred pounds plus me, let's say 500 at tops. This is 2,000. You think the bridge will hold it? Because I can only reach half of it and I can't get around to the other side. I think I'm just gonna creep up and see if I hear any, well, I'm not gonna hear anything over the motor. Let's see what happens. That worked great. I'm surprised it's holding it up though. I gotta say, when I started shooting this yesterday, I thought I was making a very different video. But then I happened to glance at my to-do list last night and there's stuff I just have to get done. I have to get off of here. And it's such a unique and ringworm-esque group of things that I thought it'd make a pretty weird video. Some of it I'm not going to bore you with, and some of it we might not get to, but check this list out. A bunch of people over the years have asked for a map of the worm just to see where everything is. So I've got a mapping app on my phone. We could hop on the four-wheeler, drive all the trails, mark all of the structures, and then I was thinking about sending that, a screenshot of that to Sarah so she could make like a piratey treasure map. And then if you guys want to support the channel, you can buy one for $1 or $600. We'll see. Oh yeah, install some lights on the digger. I've got a few LEDs. We'd have to open the whole thing up, find some power. Maybe we can do that. Since I got this thing rebuilt and got it back, it still had a couple of issues. It's gorgeous. Probably you guys all know that's the old Ruger Mark II. God, it's great trigger. It's not aftermarket, it's just the way it came. But like 1 out of 3 rounds doesn't even go off. It's a light primer strike. And I looked at it under the microscope. You can see where the pin hit that top one. The top one is from my Taurus, that handgun that I shoot all the time. The bottom one is from this gun. So I'm thinking we take the firing pin out of this, maybe grind it down a little bit, see if we can get a crisper strike. Also, this thing never has locked open when you shoot the last round and the mag is still in it. We got to get that working. I think we got to fix this front door, which doesn't latch anymore. When Sarah was here, it was like almost every single night. One of us would go out for something, we'd come back in the morning, would wake up, and the door was open. Like you could see light through it, and it was freaking freezing cold in here. I noticed I can see light through the doghouse door again. The weather strip's not perfect. We could fix that. For doing that, we could carve some names in the doghouse wall. I got this, that, the other thing. Come on, let's just get started. Oh yeah, and also, when this is on here, it doesn't fit in the holster. So we might have to try to grind that up. Oh, hello there, buddy. I guess we can wait until you're done eating there. You and Kuiper both like to eat the little trees around here. While my gut is telling me the most important thing on my list to do right now is to get that 22 running. Just came out to brush my teeth and slammed the door hard, and I look up and it's open. And since the weather's about to get sporty, I guess we should do that first. It just seems so boring. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but that is not lined up with the plate. It's a little low. You can see the scuff mark right there. So, whoa. Hi, buddy. Can I help you with something? We can either grind the bottom of this plate out, that'll work, or we could pull the screws out, drill slightly bigger holes, put some toothpicks like in the top of the holes so that the screws can move down a little bit. And if you had time, you could use epoxy with your toothpicks or wood fill or all manner of stuff and re-drill the holes. I'm not doing that right now. It's only 6 degrees out right now, and I don't want to have this door open for too long, so I just thought of something else we could try. In or out, buddy? I think I have some like cork gasket material that's pretty skinny we could fit in there. Or rather fit in the bottom one. It would push that side of the door like this. If it wasn't freezing ass cold, I could take this off and route that one out a little bit deeper to pull it back in. Oh. Sweating, freezing, sweating, freezing. I think that's a chainsaw. Oh, that's a direction that's not getting logged. Maybe it's a snowmobile all tricked out. Man, I accidentally like lightly bumped my head on something this morning, and you know you have that reflex to pull away and everything just 2 weeks of getting better, all erased immediately. Let's see, we're gonna need a door hinge. It hurts to move around like this, but it's better than laying still for too long because it gets even worse. Gonna have to go to the materials bin. Oh, right there. Thinking oh, that's pretty thin. That might work. What else we got? Just gonna move that hinge out like a jellometer or two. We've got some foam. That would definitely do it. Might be too much. Here's some more cork sheets. Might be a little bit thicker. Let's see that cork. Anybody know what temperature markers freeze? That's pretty thin. Let's double it. Not frozen yet. Do a little double-sided tape on there to keep it from sliding around too much. I used to have a normal old paper hole punch, but I haven't seen it in a very long time. Oh. How about that? I didn't even know I had, not even opened. $4.99, 6-piece hollow punch set. Used building store. Let's see if my rubber mallet doesn't shatter. Nope, works great. Wow. I think I did open these before. We must use these for a different project, because that's way sharper than you'd get a cheap set of punches. Holy crap. Oh. The screw pattern's different on these. Well, doesn't matter. Just gonna put them right through there. Yeah, something didn't hit right. I had some long screws in here. Who built this cabin? You gotta be kidding me. It's a completely different size. Yeah. Now the door's gonna have to stay open. Oh, I'll put one screw in it. Oh, right, because this is the one door I didn't build. That's why the hinge is different. Let's try that again, shall we? Uh-oh, which one did this go in? That one or that one? Yep. That's the way it goes. Perfect. For, you know, a week until the cabin settles some more. Those are pretty big flakes for not being snowing right now. What do you think? Inside or outside? Inside or outside? Oh, let's see if I can get in here without blowing up my back. Oh yeah. You can see light coming right through there. Let's see if you can see it. Oh yeah, right there. It's not a lot, but you can feel the cold air. And I think that's the only, oh yeah, that's the only place you would be able to see it. Because the other sides here and here have that overlap, like this door, with the weather strips stuck on the overlap. Oh yeah, towards the top, right there you can feel cold coming in. Oh, of course, gotta go to the outside to open the door. Sure is lovely. This one's got that nice hard close. And this one is not nearly as hard to close. Brown one, extra small, fills 1/16 to 1/8 gaps. The white one, medium, 1/4 inch thick. And then I got one we could stick behind it. If we want to go that route, it's 3/8, so we could add 3/8 on, or if we just go the full Monty. Fits gaps 1/4 to 1/2. That stuff's a lot meatier, isn't it? You know what I just remembered too? One of these rolls is not enough to go all the way around the door. I guess we'll mix and match. Okay, I'm going to promise you after this video you're never going to see me do weather stripping again. For at least a month. Maybe 3 weeks. I don't think I'm going to be able to crush this in the door. How am I doing? Not ruining your house, am I? I wish there was some way I could see the crack there. Yes. Hi. Hi. I actually looked around here and you can tell which of these is getting squished and which isn't. This one's really the only one that's not very squished. Man, that stuff is beefy. It says right on the package, weather stripping for people that don't know how to build. Which is not, that's not me. Excuse me, now's not the time. We're busy. Go away. Ooh, that's kind of cool stuff. Or maybe it's just because it's really cold out here. It's like memory foam. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, we were so close to moving on to the fun stuff. I love it when he just sits out here and stares off into the woods, especially when it's snowing like this. Try to wait as long as possible to get his attention because he gets completely covered. You're getting there, buddy. Don't move. You're doing a good job. Switched it out for a single layer. It's less to crush. But will it lock? Perfect. Nice. Got a treat for you, buddy. Oh my gosh. Holy cow, look at yourself. I gotta get a picture of that. Okay. Just barely got it. You're nuts. You know you can move when it snows on your face like that, right? You don't just have to stand there and take it. I always try to clear these stairs off, never walk on the fresh snow because it packs down. And then the stairs get slippery and I could use something to scrape the snow off, but it still has a little bit of that grippy texture sand in the paint. But when it's nice and cold like this is exactly what this duster is good for. Oh, we should try without the nozzle. Wow, yeah. And not that I care for fun, but it's also fun to use. Put the tools away and decide on another project. Should we check and see if it's snowing yet? Not yet. It's about to start snowing. Good to know, good to know. Wow, looks like all of Michigan is getting hammered today. Usually you're a dirt bear, but today you're a snow bear. Oh, I love it when it's big fat flakes like that. I can actually hear my voice being deadened off the snow too. Probably can't wire up those lights while it's snowing that hard, but let's see what we got here. I think this is going to be very far from the right stuff for the job, but what I have, and I love these little lights. They're potted, so you can leave them out in the weather. 3M. Oh, 3M's the tape. 3M's the tape, dummy. And they are like chained together, but the way I've used them before is just to clip it, cap the end, and then you could just have it run directly into one of these. Or snip and extend the wires in between and just do one loop all the way around the digger. I am kind of wondering now if those are bright enough for work lights. Probably not. I was thinking about sticking one there, one on the other side right there, and then probably, well, that cover's got to be able to come off, but somewhere on the back. Yeah, there's not really good mount down there that wouldn't get busted. I guess it wouldn't be the worst idea just to put them on there, wire them up, try them at night a couple times. If it's not enough, then the wires would already be run there, and I could get some brighter lights. Yeah, I think we should try these. That's the only light it came with, and I don't know why they put that on there. It's a spotlight. Just last night I was using this, shined it back in the forest, and you could see, I mean, you can't see through the trees that far, but at least a couple hundred feet, it's still like a pretty tight beam. So I guess it would be worth replacing that at some point too. So we'll do that tomorrow when the snow's done. Maybe we should go fix that 22. Got it back up to 60 already in here. Oh, it wasn't even turned all the way up. Let's see if I can actually sit long enough to do this. These are all the things you need right here. Headlamp, Dremel, string cheese, and a $4 pair of Walmart reading glasses. This is the only thing that would make it worth having one of the newer models of these Rugers, as it gets rid of this weird piece. It's not really that big a deal though. Oh, it looks like maybe the gunsmith put a new firing pin in this. I think mine was way more worn and bunged up. Yeah, it's very, very square on the tip. Let's just grind it a little bit. That looks better. Maybe just, we need something to knock the burrs off. What do we have? No, cheese won't do it. Got one of these polishing bits. Oh yeah. That's why I can't see anything. Yeah, that's probably half the surface area now. Then you have to know all the tomfoolery to get this thing back together. Like that, and then up at that angle. Pull the trigger, I already heard it fall. And it works. Why does this not lock open? This is the bolt release right here, and it seems like maybe the spring is worn out or something. Let's have a look-see. You should never be afraid to take anything you own apart, in my book. Yeah, I wonder if it's just the grip. It is. It's just that grip holding it. Yeah, I can see the spot inside here where it's been rubbing. Excuse me for a moment. I just ran out to the man cave because I didn't want to get rubber dust all over the place. I don't know if you can see that. Apparently there's metal inside here. I cut a bunch out of here, ground a bunch out of there. See if that worked. Yeah, no matter how hard I push on this, it doesn't seem to stick. Wouldn't that be interesting if that's all it took to fix it? Oh, you know, I bet it's like where my thumb lays on here and gripping it like that. I might be putting a bunch of pressure on it. I can actually see where it's slightly worn right here just from my big fat dirty thumbs. This thing looks so ridiculous with the can on it. Let's see if it locks open. I think you could get it to lock open. Oh yeah, it wouldn't stay like that. You'd have to pull it back and hold that thing up. Oh, we're actually getting somewhere today. If you're a shooter of 22s, you probably know that they're a lot less reliable in general than any other caliber because so little powder, small case, rim fire. And these guns, although they're great and they've been making them for God only knows how many decades, they, like every other 22, especially 22 handguns, have all sorts of issues. And I screwed with this thing for all the years you've been watching the videos from the very beginning. I filed this down, I deburred that, I changed so much stuff. And the gunsmith that worked on this finally figured out what the problem was. Where the casing met the barrel was really tight. And a lot of times I'd shoot, of course it wouldn't eject anything, and I could barely pry the casing out of there. That's one thing I never came across on the forums or anything that he figured out. I'm a little bit hopeful that this is gonna work. Oh, I was just gonna say it didn't lock open. Gotta have that in it. Let me just stick my hand out the door, shoot one round, see if I can catch the case, and look at it under the microscope. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it took more than one shot, but I got a case. Yep, look at that. Here's the old one before we filed it. Notice the dent. And here's the new one. That is much crisper. I think you need a run, don't you? I just remembered that if we get too much snow, I'm going to be kind of screwed because the trails aren't packed. Let's hook up the packing machine / ATV trailer and get this guy a little exercise. Alright, doing the sensible thing. We're leaving it. Holy schmoly, 2 more inches since we came in. This is one of those odd times where if you're feeling under the weather, there are things you still have to get out and do. You know, you can't go without water, and you can't get out to get water if you don't keep up on packing the trails. It's alright. I'm not gonna die, and I'm gonna take it easy. Oh, good. The trailer's already hooked up. It's a handy little thing, ain't it? Out of the way. That sucker sunk. That's not much of a tree to pick off of, but I just need like 20 pounds of pressure. Hi, good morning. This day / week really took a dump. Couldn't even frickin' stand up this morning. Yes, hi. So, Sarah's doing a long ass drive to come up here and borrow Kuiper for me because Really can't take care of them right now. Took me about 3 hours of slow movement and light stretching to be able to... That's as much as you can get on me. You're kind of big. Yeah, to be able to get up, make some coffee, let him out, and grab the camera and put it right there. However, I did, after I turned the camera off yesterday, got a call, and I might have an appointment for some new back injections. Let's hope and pray and cross fingers that that's the thing that gets me some frickin' relief. This is the one enormous downside of living out in the middle of nowhere in the UP, is that Sarah has to drive all the way up here, pick me up, so I can lay down basically in the car and drive me, I think it's about 4 hours to where I have the appointment. And then bring me all the way back up here. Gonna miss you, buddy. I don't like when you're not here. Although I do get a lot of this kind of to-do list done and editing and that kind of stuff when he's not here. You're so high maintenance. Just look at you. Oh, I thought you were leaving me. You came right back. All right, well, next time you see me, I'll be somewhat mobile. Have fun. I think they're calling for 4 or 5 more inches by this evening, so it puts a real warm spot in my heart. When it's storming and gnarly like this, it feels so freaking good to have 4 full 40-pound propane cans, a ton of water and shower water. Everything's full. Now my batteries are charged, so I've got like 3 days where I could just lay here and not move. Hopefully I don't actually have to do that, but I could. Owie. We are going to get this in there one way or the other. Breech is open, unloaded. It's about 1 inch. What the heck? There's a 1-inch drill bit. Just exactly fits in there. My thought was to pinch this thing down. There's a bunch of ribs inside here, and drill those ribs out, because I can't really get any other tool down in there very easily. Yeah, I guess it is like 1 1/16. I wonder why it's not an exact measurement. All right, we're gonna melt it. I've done this once before, and I'll do it again. Heat this up, and as it gets hot, pinch this together and spread that out. God, I can't wait for our AI alien overlords to tell us how to get rid of all these cords. Makes a dude crazy after a while. This is hopefully going to go fast because this heat gun eats up my battery. Am I allowed to play this on YouTube? I have no idea. I don't really know how YouTube works. But this is what I keep pausing over and over. 350 degrees, and it's starting to melt the outside without really making this any more pliable. That's too bad. Oh, you know what? This is poured plastic, because I can see where the 2 halves of the mold came together. That little flashing line right there. Oh, yeah, and there's a line right there, so they made 2 halves and then they melted them or stuck them together somehow. This one I think is thermoformed, so it's a different kind of plastic. There's no parting line. This was made from a sheet, probably, that they get hot, bend it around, and then probably vacuum it to get it to fit to a mold. Alright, well, guess that's not gonna work. I used a whole bunch of different chisels and gouges and everything, and I got all those ribs out from the inside of this. It's horrible inside. It looks like Freddy Krueger and the Grim Reaper had a slap fight in there. Hard to use a flat chisel to chisel the inside of something rounded. Let's go try this out. Well, there's one problem with this setup. You have to draw it. You might have to print some kind of extender on here. Make a chunk out of wood or ABS plastic or something. We're gonna see how many jams or light strikes we have, and oh, I guess I only have I have 100 rounds in my pocket. Zero. That's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Since that was probably hot when I dropped it, I guess we're down to 2. I guess it won't hurt to put it in the snow now. Alright, let's map this whole thing out. Start my app. The orange one's cabin. There are actually a lot of the other structures out here already marked, but this should show us the trail in between them. God, I am not doing very well right now. I'm just trying to ignore this. Alright, let's just go. See how long it takes before my phone freezes and turns off. Well, I mean, we have to mark the lean-to, and I just sat down, so I don't know if the four-wheeler will fit through here. Don't get stuck, don't get stuck. Lean-to. There's the man cave. Ooh. It's gonna end up in the snow. Over the dog bed. Wow. Gotta shovel that sucker off. Alright, so that's the shower. That's basically all of camp right there. This is the walking shooting range starting here down the side of the property. I love driving down this trail in the winter because it is so windy and bumpy, and like right now I'm underneath the tree, so there's only, I don't know, not quite a foot of snow on the ground right here. But like back behind me, there's an open spot. It's like you sink right in. This is where Sarah excavated the tree out of the way. There is a target right here. For whatever reason, this mag's only got 9 in it, so we can't hate on it if we don't hear a full 10. This is about, I don't know, 50 yards or something, and I think it's a 10-inch plate or 12-inch plate. We got a bad one. So, was that 9? I wasn't counting. So 19, one bad one. We are bottoming out. That's good. Yeah, that's deep. Nothing over top. Get out of this area, we'll get back to the trails that I maintain all the time. Then this is the favorite one out here you guys have seen before. It's just hanging on a cable. It's like a 8 or 10-inch plate, so when you hit it, it spins, it wobbles. We should actually, let's shoot it. Light strike right off the bat. Uh-oh. Another one. Alright, well, maybe we're done. I was about to stick this in my armpit because I didn't have any place to set it down. It's too bad. Might actually have to take it back to somebody that knows what they're doing. Okay, now we're gonna make the turn, get onto normal trails. You and I are gonna freeze pretty soon. Oh, this is gonna be really deep. Uh-oh. Come on, baby. Oh, crap. Yeah, that's getting to be a bit much there. Huh. We're so close, we're like 60 yards from a packed trail. That's a problem. I was pushing a wake. That's it, that's what's going on. Okay, now we're buried. I think we got a good tree. We can get out of here in maybe just one winch, maybe 2. Actually, all we need to do drive out. What the heck? All that way, and I got my front tires on the packed path and it stopped. I guess it would be best if we just tried it one more time. I should have brought a bigger brush. I was so hopeful. Just went out to the car. When you come back in here, the only way in is past the ringworm sign. This is where the walking trail goes up to camp. I was thinking we've already driven this trail, so we should go the walking trail, but I think it's better to have gravity on our side. We'll come back down that way. Make an extra loop. I guess we'll go back up to the cabin. There's the cabin, there's the kitchen. Back into camp, and I'm about to lose my fingers from frostbite. But we'll go back through and go down the walking trail. This is the other end of it. I don't think it'll be too bad because it's pretty much 100% tree, no open spots. I see I missed the gazebo, the deer castle. Oh yeah, and the sky deck. I'm gonna do a couple loops out there. We'll put them on the map, and then we can go warm our fingers up. After another 3 entire days laid out flat in pain, last night I was just like, I can't do it anymore. I just slowly got up, slowly put all my stuff on, and waddled out here and took the excavator apart. But the only wire I had here, I had, wrapped up and tied in a knot, and it was so cold you couldn't get the memory out of it. They were just like these tiny little kinks, just like a ball of wire. So I took them into the cabin, put them over the heater. I was waiting for them to warm up, and I had my hands over it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going back outside tonight. There's just kind of pieces and parts all thrown in the snow. But man, this is a really simple machine. I mean, I still think it's amazing that you can get one of these for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 grand. It kind of blows my mind, really. But when you open it up, you can see it's just metal, some hoses, hydraulic tank, a battery, and then like a little engine thrown in the back. What's that? Hydraulic pump hooked to the side of this little tiny motor. Look at, you got throttle, 3 switches, only one of which actually goes to anything. There's your key. I assume that's a hydraulic oil filter. Yep, there's the big line coming off of it. Look at all this space. You could have a dance party in there. The cool thing is it's really easy to follow the wires. So here's the one switch for the light. It comes out right there. And this is the other end of it that goes up the boom. I just pulled it out of there. I'm just going to tap into this thing. The only appropriate sized wires I have, we got a 1-footer, a 2-footer, and a 3-footer. So we got to make this work. Unfortunately, I didn't have quite enough connectors to do all this with shrink wrap, so some of these are going to have to get replaced later. Man, there's no way this is going to stick on here. I think we're going to need a heat gun, which means we need a battery. I don't know why I didn't think of doing this earlier. Locks right in. Man, this is so ugly. It's kind of embarrassing how this ended up working out. There's extra wire everywhere, so we can snip stuff and put better lights up. That would be a great spot for a light right there. See if we can heat this metal up just a little bit. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Uh-oh. Too cold for a heat gun, huh? Maybe heat up that tape a little bit. I did hook each one up to a Ryobi battery just to make sure they turn on. That icy wind, I don't think is helping anything. There's nothing wrong with this heat gun, really. I think it was like $12. Bought it about 20 years ago, but man, I hate these cheap cords. This one coils up like this and stays stiff even in the middle of the summer. Man, I didn't stick that on straight. I'm not gonna show you. This one, I couldn't find any better place right now, so we're gonna stick it on here, and then I put some disconnects on it. Oh, I see something I should have done differently. All I had for connectors that were covered are these little spade connectors. I like to do them opposite. Instead of putting like female, female, male, male, and then you got to figure out which one's positive, negative. I put one of each in there, and then there's only one way it can plug in. The problem with that is this one, the cup is facing up, so rain is going to go right down in there. You got to screw up a little bit to end up being real smart. Speaking of screw-ups, I hope you come back for next Saturday's video. I think I'm going to make one that I've been wanting to make for years. It's actually, I think this week, it's 5 years I've been out here, which is just wild. I'm finally going to make this video of 5 years of building mistakes out here. It's been like probably a year and a half as I come across, you know, I walk into the man cave, I see something, I'm like, oh yeah, should have done that differently. I write it down. And I'm going to take my list, walk around to all the structures I've built, and point out all my screw-ups, because that's the kind of crap you don't see on YouTube. And it makes sense. I mean, you can't watch every second of every 2x4 get cut. My videos are, you'll agree, my videos are already long enough. But it seems like everything on YouTube building and creating stuff ends up being condensed down to these little building montages. Here's everything I built, condensed down to 20 seconds. Almost everything I learn out here is from trying stuff and then screwing up, looking at the problem again, trying a different way, maybe screwing up 3 or 5 more times. And I eventually find something that works. And that's what you generally end up seeing. Although, you guys know, I try to point out my building mistakes. You want to see that? Come on, let me show you one of the screw-ups real quick. This is the first, like, ground level cabin-y thing I built. I didn't expect to still be out here. I didn't expect to still be using this thing. I just thought it'd be fun to try to knock together. I think before I framed the floor of this thing, I called my dad and asked him to look up the building tables just to see if the floor joist needed to be like, you know, 2x6s or 2x15s. And you know, I'm limited by how much lumber I have, the size of the lumber, all that, but I think all the floor joists were within the spec. But if it's an outside wall, I think it has to be a much beefier board, which of course seems obvious. If you're just gonna like put a table or a couch on top of the floor joist inside, that's one thing. But if it's gonna be like supporting the walls and the roof and everything else, you need a board or boards with a lot more meat. So after a year or two, I noticed that this side was sagging a little bit, that was sagging a little bit, so temporarily I just jammed some stumps under there. And every now and then I go sight down here, see it sagging a little bit more, and put a shim in there. Anyway, one of the things about these projects I dislike the most, I dislike doing the most, is digging holes. Now we've got the digger, we could get the bucket right underneath there. We can jack this thing up, we can dig out whatever we need to, pour more concrete, figure out a way to put some fatter boards all the way around this thing. And that I actually think is going to be quite fun to do. Anyway, okay, back on topic. What was the topic? Oh yeah, we got to carve some names. We got to get slightly caught-upper. We'll come back out tonight after dark and flip those lights on and just see what they look like. I tell you what, this ain't like living in the city. You get about a week and a half where you can be immobile, and then things really start to fall apart. I'm just gonna fire up this stove in here in the man cave and do the name carving. I turned the can on here, and propane, liquid propane was just shooting out. This regulator got water inside of it. The water froze and like just totally jacked up the diaphragm. I don't know if I got it back together right or not, but at the moment it doesn't matter. So I just went in the cabin to get something, and we have a huge problem in there, which means as soon as I finish this video, I guess we'll start the next one, all my screw-ups. It's a cabin with no power or water, yet there's water coming down inside. Nope, didn't fix it. All right, no heat. I'm gonna do this as fast as possible, but with good penmanship. Of course, we also gotta do this quick before the camera freezes. Jared K, Dave S, Chad B, David P. Took about 4 or 5 days to realize I could just close the door on the inside to the cabin once Kuiper left and save myself some heat. I think I've mentioned this before, but if you just sign up for Patreon, make sure that your name is either easily figurable from your email address, or you shoot me a message on Patreon and tell me your first name, last initial, so I can carve you. There's a couple people that I can't figure out and I haven't been able to get in touch with, so they remain uncarved. You don't want to be uncarved, that's embarrassing. Oh, all right, I better run. If you're interested, hopefully sometime in the not too distant future, we'll have some ringworm treasure maps available. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Especially, I appreciate you a little bit more than ever. All right, it's dark enough. Let's see if it does anything at all. There's the light switch. Oh, hey, that's something. Yeah, that's something. Almost enough to work by right there. This way. Peace. See you next Saturday morning. Subscribe if you want to. You can subscribe. You can hit that little bell thing. It'll remind you that when you wake up on Saturday morning, as early as 7 o'clock, you can see me and all my screw-ups. See ya.